Svet dela se spreminja.
The future is going to be very different than the past.
Gledamo vzpon robotike in umetne inteligence.
We're building systems that can directly replace human jobs and tasks.
Zaradi visoke tehnologije in zunanjih izvajalcev je veliko ljudi ostalo brez službe. Pandemija COVID-19 je le še prilila olje na ogenj.
The pandemic is accelerating the dislocation and therefore the pain.
Za številne se je narava dela močno spremenila.
The New Deal is now there are no guarantees, there's no certainty.
To je nova industrijska revolucija. Kot vse pretekle povzroča velike pretrese, a ustvarja tudi nove priložnosti za zaslužek. So delavci temu kos? Spoznavali bomo prihodnost dela.
The American dream is very much at risk.
Americans can't work any harder.
Robots are coming to take my job.
It's not even the future, it's me now.
Prihodnost dela.
After 30 years of doing finance and accounting, I was laid off. My wife is like, so let's start looking at different ways to make a living and go from there. Amazon started this group called Camper Force. So what they do is they have people that live in RVs and are willing to travel to go to different parts of the country where they needed additional help during their peak seasons. I'm Chris Francis, and this is my first experience with Amazon. I've been placed in a return center. A lot of merchandise being returned, and our job is to process that, get it pushed back to the fulfillment centers where it's being available for the general public to come purchase it again online.
Who doesn't love Amazon Prime? Amazon has made shopping cheaper than it's ever been before. Well, behind that wondrous technology and those low prices are human beings whose jobs are being fueled by the new technology. And those human beings work in mega warehouses all across the country.
They're plug-and-play labor, and they bring their houses with them. I mean, it's kind of an employer's dream. They're not around long enough to unionize, and when they're no longer needed, they and their houses are gone and back on the road.
And we're the new nomad groups, the new gypsy groups that are moving.
We see these warehouses built in non-urban areas, and around those big warehouses and these vast open places are big parking lots filled with these older workers who have brought their own homes with them, like little turtles who brought their shells.
Anything I spend, I'll make sure it ends up in the budget so that at the end of, the next day, we're not surprised by anything.
We've got extra fuel in for going back to Texas.
I've already put the extra
And
fuel
then
in.
April's going to have extra fuel for traveling to Missouri. We've got tires at the end of March.
We just added the tires in the budget for both the RV and the truck.
Okay.
It's $3,000 to get both of them done if we have to get that done in March. That's a
Oh,
lot.
that's if we're lucky.
If we're lucky, it's $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Nova industrijska revolucija.
My vision would be I'd still be working at a company somewhere, maybe even my own business. Definitely not saying, I'll work in a warehouse for X number of dollars per hour and do that as a seasonal guy to see what it's like. And that, to me, was just nuts. It's like, okay, am I going to be able to do this?
Chris je kot mnogi iz njegove generacije odraščal v duhu ameriških sanj. Redna služba, spodoben dohodek in lagodna upokojitev. In vsaka nova generacija naj bi živela bolje od prejšnje.
The American dream is this dream of constant progress. This idea that in America, your station of birth is not your destiny. That you can be born poor, but your biology and your family and your networks, they aren't as important as what you put into your life. That effort can overcome anything.
V 20. stoletju so bile te sanje dosegljive. Danes pa za milijone ljudi niso več. Razblinile so jih neustavljive sile. Globalizacija, zunanji izvajalci, umetna inteligenca in vzpon tehnoloških velikanov.
Only in the last few decades have we begun to see a bit of backsliding, a recognition that maybe this generation will not exceed the state and the wealth and the maybe even happiness that previous generations reached.
Francisovo upanje na lagodno upokojitev je izpuhtelo. K njemu se bomo še vrnili. Kako se bo znašel v tem negotovem okolju? Za zdaj je del novega prekariata, vedno večje skupine delavcev, ki se prebijajo od enega kratkoročnega in slabo plačanega dela do drugega.
There are many ways your income's precarious, your benefits precarious. You don't have a long-term link to the customer for whom you're providing the service. It's precarious employment.
Vsa kratkoročna dela pa vseeno niso slabo plačana.
TaskRabbit is an app and a website that connects taskers and clients to do odd jobs, which we call tasks. Anything from furniture assembly to errands to organization. I'm Chloe. For 4 years, I've used TaskRabbit. From my side, as a tasker, I would open the app and mark off my availability. And then, hopefully, I get a client who books me in that time. They describe the task that they want done, how long they think it would take, and then book them on the schedule, and then show up.
Sodobna tehnologija je omogočila tako imenovano ekonomijo na poziv, deluje na digitalnih platformah, kot so Uber, Lyft in TaskRabbit.
The gig worker has grown out of the use of company platforms. What the person is doing is looking for customers. What the platform is doing is linking them to customers.
What I love about TaskRabbit is that it's really flexible. I set my own schedule, I set my own rates. I know what I'm agreeing to.
Med delavci in strankami ni dolgoročnih obveznosti, ko je delo opravljeno, je odnosa konec.
Work and the way that we see work is changing. It's no longer this rigid 9 to 5 idea. It's a lot more flexible, and apps definitely give you that sense of freedom and flexibility. Any spare time you have, you can start earning income during those times, which is definitely different from your traditional, I have one job and that's the only basis of income.
Več kot 55 milijonov Američanov je vključenih v ekonomijo na poziv. Nekaterim, kot je Chloe, prinaša svobodo in prilagodljivost, za druge pa predstavlja le večjo finančno negotovost.
So there's almost two Americas that exist right now. This America that feels basically safe and can think about things besides paying their bills, and an America that is constantly afraid. And so for those people, the gig economy is not liberation, it's just survival. It's a way to make ends meet when your regular job has already failed you.
The work is being further fragmented in terms of part-time, full-time, independent contractors, gig work. Part of the people are saying, well, isn't this great? People have more freedom. On the other hand, I'd like to talk to them after 5 or 10 years to see where they are economically when they have no health insurance and no pension.
There's a big difference between a job and a career, and this distinction is being lost in our society A career is something that will serve you for your lifetime, and it's very meaningful. Jobs, on the other hand, are very transactional. The gig economy makes jobs really transactional.
V vse bolj razdrobljenem svetu dela obstajajo zmagovalci in poraženci. Nekatere panoge so občutljivejše od drugih. Zaposlitev v restavraciji že tako ali tako velja za negotovo, pandemija COVID-19 pa je gostinstvo še posebej prizadela.
Restaurant business is a difficult business in general. Most go out of business their first 6 months. It could be so many different things that you just don't have going your way that you won't make it. So then you throw COVID into the mix, and then you have places that have been open for 20 years that can't make it. I am Chef Aji Abbott, chef and co-owner Uzana Soul Food Restaurant, located in Washington, D.C. I really love the business. I love cooking. I love making people happy. I love seeing smiles on faces and people with fat stomachs and just telling me, hey, you know what, this is the best food I ever had. Any great chef would tell you, that's payment. COVID has put a lot of businesses, out into pasture because I mean, just the uncertainty of everything that's going on. One day you're making gangbusters money, and then coronavirus hits, and now you're not making any money.
Zaradi posledic pandemije COVID-19 je prenehalo poslovati več kot 100 tisoč restavracij v Združenih državah Amerike, oziroma vsaka šesta. Številne morda ne bodo nikoli več odprle vrat, tiste, ki so zdržale, pa so spomladi 2021 spet začele zaposlovati.
Yeah, we're here on U Street, and pretty much the place closed down in every block. You got a place here, you got a place across the street, a bar, a nightclub, a lot of restaurants. I mean, a lot of people didn't make it because of COVID.
Now, I know people had to make tough choices. Do I re-sign this lease and put myself into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and not really know what's going to happen? And I don't blame anybody for making whatever decision they had to make. But mine was we had to stay open. And then we kind of just went with shortened staff and, tighten our belts.
How you doing, my friend? Come on in.
Our people have always been resilient. I'm used to not having and doing without, and I had to decide, what we were going to do as far as the daily business and the daily grind. Are you going to pick up the delivery and the first responders, and are you going to market a little bit better and make COVID specials? I mean, you have to come up with some great ideas for you to survive through the pandemic. My grandmother would say, you know what, you can make something today. It's better than making nothing today. So we just focused on making something rather than nothing.
Ovčjeva restauracija je preživela, ker se je prilagodila novi resničnosti naročanja na daljavo, dostave in izogibanja družbenim stikom. Delo na daljavo, ki ga poganjajo nove tehnologije, je doživelo razcvet v številnih panogah.
COVID is a very complicated thing to sort through. It has demonstrated that for tens of millions of jobs, it's possible to do those jobs effectively, remotely, at least for a period of months.
I think the pandemic has fundamentally been an accelerator. I think it's taken a lot of things that were changing very slowly and it's changed them very quickly. So you look at something like remote work. It wasn't happening in the 80s, it wasn't happening in the 90s, it wasn't happening in the 2000s, but just in the last 5 years, you started to see little tiny bits of evidence. The remote work was starting to pick up, and then of course, with COVID, it absolutely took off and accelerated. Taking a trend that had already been invented
and putting it in steroids.
Porast novih oblik dela na daljavo, pa tudi številne druge spremembe je omogočila digitalna tehnologija. Zaradi nje so nekatera delovna mesta ukinili, so pa zato nastala nova. Digitalna tehnologija je srce nove industrijske revolucije.
We are in a digital revolution where everything is being displaced by digital technology. Technology has taken over our lives and it will continue to do so. So we're going to have to run very fast in order to keep up with it.
To ni prvič, da je tehnologija svet dela postavila na glavo. Zaradi industrijske revolucije je v 19. stoletju izginilo na milijone delovnih mest v kmetijstvu in obrtnih dejavnostih. Sčasoma so jih nadomestila nova delovna mesta v tovarnah. V 20. stoletju so nove tehnologije povzročale pretrese v različnih industrijskih panogah. Nekatera delovna mesta so izginila, a se je pojavila potreba po drugih. V zgodovini je bilo že veliko tehnoloških revolucij, pa so delavci vedno preživeli. Bo tako tudi tokrat?
Agriculture is a great example of how fast the workforce can change. 200 years ago, more than 9 in 10 Americans worked in agriculture. Today, about 1 to 2 in 100 Americans work in agriculture. It's gone from 90% of the economy to about 1.2, 1.6% of the economy. But we're not starving. We're eating more, we're eating better, we're eating more healthily than we did 200 years ago because of technology. And so I think that agriculture can offer both an element of fear and an element of hope.
Technology has completely changed the way that farmers do things today. It's changed everything from the seeds that we plant to the way that we drive our equipment. My name is Sarah Levis, and I'm a farmer. My family's been farming in North Dakota for 4 generations.
Družina Lovas se s poljedelstvom ukvarja že 80 let. V tem času so mesta doživela razcvet, število Američanov, ki živijo na podeželju, pa se je skrčilo z 70 na 15%. Novi stroji so nadomeščali delovno silo, ljudje pa so bežali s podeželja. Danes se v kmetijstvu spopadajo s pomanjkanjem delavcev, poljedelci pa so odprtih rok sprejeli novo tehnologijo, saj jim drugega ne preostane.
You get in a tractor cab today and there's literally 3 to 5 screens and they're running all kinds of different technologies in the tractor and on the farm.
In my life, the 2 greatest advances that have affected agriculture include biotechnology and also GPS on our tractors. As a matter of fact, we don't even hold the steering wheel when we're in the tractor cabs anymore. So you notice I'm not steering. No hands. That's because the GPS is actually steering the combine right where it needs to be. And it allows us to stay within a 2-inch accuracy of being on this line that we told the computer that we want to be on. We hook it up to the auto steer and the GPS guides the tractor, and the tractors literally drive themselves until they get to the end of the field, and then we turn the tractor around and send it back the other direction. Even my father-in-law, who's been farming for more than 50 years and has seen so many changes over his lifetime, he knows how to run the computers in there to get auto steer to work correctly. Because it's just what we have to do today.
The solutions being driven with technology today are to create a way for the local farmer, the small farmer, the family farmer to be able to actually do more with less because they don't have the labor to come into the farm today and help.
There is a tech revolution that's happening in farming, and you see it all around us. agriculture is being digitized. I work at an ag tech company located in Fargo, North Dakota, one of the most productive regions in the world in terms of commodities. The digitization of agriculture, it's created job opportunities for those that surround the farmer that weren't there before. We can help with farmers using tools through their smartphones to take advantage of the digitization. There are irrigation pivot systems that farmers can now open their phone and they can change the pivot on the system right from there.
Toda mali kmetje, tudi kljub najnovejši tehnologiji, niso v najboljšem položaju. Večino dobička v kmetijstvu poberejo korporacije, ki prodajajo semena in opremo, ter veletrgovci, ki pridelke prodajajo po vsem svetu. Kmetje se zavedajo, da na svetovnem trgu igrajo le majhno vlogo.
It's very global. We produce food for everybody in the United States, but we produce food for the whole world. China, Taiwan, we've hosted a Korean trade group on this farm before.
Globalizacija kmetijstva kmetom omogoča dostop do oddaljenih trgov, hkrati pa postanejo odvisni od globalnega nihanja cen.
2018 and 2019 are 2 years back to back that have actually been very challenging economically for farms in this area. The commodity prices are low and inputs are expensive. Since then, I'm happy to report that the prices have come back and we are actually hoping to maybe break even. But keep that in mind, we're hoping to maybe break even.
We're a little stubborn up here. We want to prove that we can do it. We're internal optimists in the sense where we believe things can get better, and at times they do get better. It's not always doom and gloom. It's a cyclical thing. Seems like we live in the doom and gloom more than in the good time.
Toda kljub številnim tehnološkim napredkom na področju kmetijstva je življenje poljedelcev še naprej prežito z negotovostjo.
So farm stress is a very real thing now, and in the last 3 to 5 years, the farmer suicide rate has actually increased quite a bit in North Dakota. Oftentimes, our culture in rural America is to be stoic, and you just tough it out and get through it, and this is pretty tough. Again, we've got 4 generations into our farm. Where's the big tire? Big tire. Where's the bucket on your tractor? Bucket. Where's the seat? Seat. Where's the engine? Engine. We have a young son whose first word was tractor. What's this? Is that your tractor? Is that your tractor? He loves the farm. He loves being out here. Can you show me? Oh, done. Okay, go combine. Should he choose to farm, he would be the 5th generation. And that's something that's a big burden, I think, for farmers to carry on their shoulders. When you've got generations behind you and generations in front of you, you don't want your farm to fail on your watch. Ooh, dump truck.
Sara Lovas v novi industrijski revoluciji orje ledino. Čeprav se prilagaja spremembam, usoda njene družine ostaja negotova.
So many people think that because we've gone through some of the other industrial revolutions and each of them has resulted in more work for humans despite all of the disruption from automation, that it's a foregone conclusion for this new industrial revolution. And I don't think it's going to be nearly quite as simple.
Ena izmed glavnih razlik pri industrijski revoluciji 21. stoletja so roboti. Najnovejši modeli so že izjemno natančni in omogočajo marsikaj, zato spreminjajo številne panoge.
I think in the near term we're going to see robots working alongside people collaboratively. And they're actually called collaborative robots now that work side by side safely in conjunction with people in the workplace to mutually accomplish tasks more efficiently and effectively.
My name is Dr. Michael Jobst. I'm a board-certified colon and rectal surgeon. I've been practicing in Lincoln, Nebraska for nearly 15 years. I adopted robotics as part of my minimally invasive surgery practice in 2011. And since that time, we've completed over 650 robotic colorectal operations. Ready to get to work. Good morning.
Bryantova bolnišnica v Lincolnu, Nebraski, je bila pred 15 leti ena izmed prvih, v katerih so začeli uporabljati kirurške kobote. Danes so že nekaj vsakdanjega po vseh Združenih državah Amerike.
I'm Kathy Bliss. I'm a food nutrition manager for Lincoln Public Schools. I am going to have surgery here with Dr. Jobst, and it's going to be robotics for my diverticulitis. I'm hoping it will be a short recovery for me. I'm sure Dr. Jobst will do a great job because I've heard nothing but great things about him. Yes, I feel very nervous.
Operacija je nekaj zelo intimnega in pogosto gre za življenje, zato se morda zdi strašno skalpele zaupati robotu. Toda pri mnogih posegih koboti operirajo natančneje in varneje, kot bi zmogli kirurgi.
Okay, so let's go ahead and prepare to dock the robot. So James is going to drive the robot. Diana is going to direct him. The robot that I'll be using on Kathy's operation is the Da Vinci Xi surgical platform. It is the latest technology that is available for what we call multi-arm robotic surgery. It has 4 robotic arms that we will introduce into Kathy's body. One of those arms controls a camera. We're going to put the camera in. And then there are going to be 3 instrument arms under my control. All right, now we'll go to the console. So the surgeon puts his or her head into the console and gets immersed inside of the body cavity. So it's almost like being inside the abdomen in a way that we could never do before. Let's switch arm 4 back to the scissor.
Koboti Roboti so v operacijske sobe prinesli več natančnosti, nadzora in varnosti. Pa je ta nova generacija robotov koga stala dela?
I don't think any jobs were lost because a hospital has invested in a surgical robot. We have a circulating nurse in the operating room who has a certain level of expertise in handling the robot, troubleshooting the robot. We still have an anesthesiologist. I still have a surgical assistant. We still have to have surgical technologists, or what we commonly refer to as a scrub tech, who hands instruments, but instead of handing the instrument to me, they're putting the instrument into the robot for me to use. So all of the necessary jobs that are required for me to take care of a patient still exist. Let's take instruments out, camera out, and let's undock the robot and back it away from the table. Okay guys, job well done everybody. I thought the operation went very well. I'm very pleased with the results. I think she will be as well.
V operacijski sobi zaradi kobotov ni še nihče izgubil dela, se je pa spremenil delovni proces. Povsem avtonomni operacijski roboti so že na obzorju. Na nekaterih področjih medicine je tehnologija že zdaj korak pred človekom. Pri nekaterih boleznih, naprimer pri raku dojk, je umetna inteligenca pri interpretaciji rentgenskih slik že natančnejša od radiologov.
You could imagine that tool that a surgeon is using today being a cobot, but tomorrow being the surgeon. That's just how technology advances. But I do think that we can sometimes be a little bit too optimistic about the wall that has been erected between things humans do and things machines can do.
Nam bodo nekega dne zavladali roboti? V 20. stoletju je znanstveno-fantastični žanr močno zaznamovala ideja, da bodo roboti nadomestili in izpodrinili ljudi. Smo že na pragu tega obdobja?
We're not certain where technology is going, but we know more and more it's getting closer to having human-like qualities. Technology is moving a lot faster than our brains can capture.
Years ago, there was no such thing really as an autonomous robot. You had robots that could basically do repetitive motions, but by and large, the robots weren't thinking for themselves. They weren't making their own decisions. At IM Robotics, we're making one of the most challenging autonomous robots ever put together. It's a robot that's able to sense its own environment and see objects and drive around and actually manipulate things by itself.
Avtonomni roboti že zdaj opravljajo nekatera dela. Zagovorniki robotov trdijo, da so to dela, ki jih nihče noče opravljati. Dolgočasna, umazana ali nevarna dela. A so za nekoga kljub temu služba.
At first I was with everybody else. Robots are coming to take my job. But after working with them, I got to see what they could actually do and how much they could actually help the warehouse. And, you know, everything they brought to the table. My name is Mike Collins. I am the facilities manager here at IM Robotics. I started as a cook when I just graduated high school, and I went to hospitality management for college, and then I kind of just grew sick of working in kitchens, so I transitioned to a warehouse. And then a few years later, the company pulled us all in the warehouse and said, we bought some robots and we want you to run them. I would say to all those people who are scared about the future of robots is embrace it. Let it come, because it's going to create more jobs that are a little more meaningful
Eventually, we'll have robots that can more or less do as much as a person can do. But I have no idea when that's going to be. I don't see it happening in my lifetime.
Današnji roboti so večinoma le mehanski podaljšek svojih upravljavcev, ljudi. Pa bo še dolgo tako? Z bliskovitim razvojem umetne inteligence, ki zmore zaznati in razumeti svet okoli sebe, se zdi prihod človekopodobnih robotov vse bliže. Sistemi z umetno inteligenco lahko nadomestijo nepredstavljivo število ljudi.
The very definition of artificial intelligence is to do what people can do in terms of people's dexterity, perception, and cognition. And that means we're building systems that can directly replace human jobs and tasks. When I list the jobs that will get displaced, all the manual labor, all the routine work that don't involve creativity and compassion, that's a sizable, maybe 30-40% of our population.
O teh odstotkih se sicer krešejo mnenja, nekaj pa je gotovo. Umetna inteligenca nadomešča delavce vsepovsod. Celo v prvih obrambnih vrstah. Ameriška vojna mornarica že uporablja bojne ladje vrste LCS, ki potrebujejo veliko manj posadke. Za orožje in navigacijo namreč skrbi dovršen sistem umetne inteligence.
So the Navy put new technologies on board the ship where those systems could do portions of the work that the sailors had traditionally done. Things like the voyage management system or the ship's machinery control system.
V preteklosti so za ladje take velikosti potrebovali 180-člansko posadko, za nove ladje vrste LCS pa je dovolj že 65 članov posadke. Številni izmed njih vse delo opravijo na računalniku.
By using those systems, we could use fewer people to stand those watches, and so the Navy has gone to that across the board now. So all of the ships have those smart ship type technologies.
Umetna inteligenca ne nadomešča ljudi le v mornarici, temveč v vseh panogah. Najpogosteje v segmentu srednje zahtevnih del srednjega dohodkovnega razreda. Še posebej so na udaru delovna mesta v bančništvu in finančnem sektorju, službe, ki so bile dolgo simbol stabilnosti srednjega razreda.
The financial services industry used to employ enormous numbers of middle-class wage-earning workers. In New York City alone, hundreds of thousands of people were involved with processing trading activity, banking activity. These are people that would use calculators to tabulate numbers. All of these jobs are gone.
Samo v zadnjih 5 letih je v bančništvu in finančnem sektorju izgubilo delo 500 000 ljudi iz srednjega dohodkovnega razreda. Umetna inteligenca in novi računalniški sistemi so njihovo delo opravili hitreje in ceneje.
Automation has been really turbocharged by AI and robotics. And so really business has tried to reduce the cost of providing goods and services by eliminating humans from work when possible.
Za številne službe srednjega razreda, ki jih ne morejo nadomestiti z umetno inteligenco ali avtomatizacijo, pa lahko najdejo zunanje izvajalce v manj razvitih državah, kjer so stroški dela nižji.
Offshoring and automation definitely, I think of as two of the Bash brothers that have sort of taken on the American workforce. That offshoring takes jobs out of the United States and puts them in countries like Vietnam and China, and places in Africa.
That's why there's a lot of interest right now in the term reshoring, how much work can be brought back from other areas. But corporations are in the business of making money and keeping labor costs low. And it's going to be very easy for them to continue outsourcing unless there's political pressure.
There are two major forces that are at play in the future of work. The technology is only one part of the equation. The other part of the equation is our ability to take work and increasingly distribute it anywhere in the world to the most capable or qualified man or machine under a whole new and different set of work relationships.
Bodo te službe srednjega razreda, ki izginjajo zaradi razvoja tehnologije ali zunanjih izvajalcev, sčasoma nadomestile nove službe, kot se je zgodilo pri preteklih tehnoloških revolucijah? To je vprašanje za $1 milijon.
The human job is something that's evolving over time. Just as many jobs we have today, some very high-paying, great jobs like data scientists, AI programming, robot repair, didn't exist 10 years ago, and now they're some of the hottest jobs. So more jobs will be created. This is an ever-evolving process, and we have to work hard to create new opportunities.
Porast dobro plačanih in visoko specializiranih služb v tehnoloških panogah in robotiki spremlja tudi porast slabo plačanih, nekvalificiranih služb. V kombinaciji z izginjanjem delovnih mest srednjega dohodkovnega razreda se je zato v gospodarstvu izoblikovala obrnjena Gaussova krivulja.
Basically, you have these two different kinds of jobs that are growing, the high-end jobs and the low-end jobs, and the middle jobs are the ones that are being automated or digitized away over time. That's the barbell.
V 70-ih letih je bilo razmerje med službami visokega, srednjega in nizkega dohodkovnega razreda v gospodarstvu skorajda enako. V zadnjih 50 letih pa se je delež delovnih mest srednjega dohodkovnega razreda skrčil z 38% na zgolj 23%, kar je prizadelo predvsem srednji družbeni razred. Hkrati se je povečala tudi dohodkovna neenakost med najbolje in najslabše plačanimi. Med najslabše plačanimi službami je veliko takih, ki jih lahko opravlja le človek, stroj pa ne. Vsaj za zdaj ne.
They're low-wage jobs, they're low-skill jobs. They are jobs which right now have to be done by humans. You can't automate a personal service. You can't automate a lot of care work.
Najhitreje rastoča panoga v segmentu slabo plačanih del je pomoč na domu, čiščenje, varovanje otrok in nega.
I clean 2 houses a day, sometimes 1, sometimes 3. Sometimes I do small jobs beside the cleaning just to survive, you know. My name is Adelaide Tembam. I came to America in 2008 from Mozambique and I'm house cleaning.
Številne gospodinjske pomočnice kot Tembe so priseljenke in temnopolte. Pogosto so slabo plačane, njihovo delo pa je negotovo.
The domestic workers are mostly women who work in our home. They are nannies, they are cleaners, caretakers, caregivers, therapists, cooks, all in one. Because we often say domestic workers do the work that makes all other work possible.
V Združenih državah Amerike je 2,5 milijona gospodinjskih pomočnic. Do leta 2030 pa naj bi se ta številka podvojila. Ker se prebivalstvo stara, bodo potrebe po pomoči in negi na domu vse večje. Številnim, ki so izgubili službo zaradi avtomatizacije ali zunanjih izvajalcev, pogosto preostane le še pomoč na domu.
Domestic work is in many ways the future of the economy. These are the jobs that are coming and these are the jobs that are here to stay. Domestic workers often live and work in the shadows of the economy. They are mostly women. They're working behind closed doors. in the privacy of someone else's home. So what this then leads to is conditions that are really ripe for abuse and exploitation. There are so many dimensions to how this can be a dangerous and unsafe job.
Adelaide Tembe se je ob pomoči različnih organizacij, kot je Zveza gospodinjskih pomočnic, postavila na noge. S hčerjo sta si v Združenih državah Amerike s trudom uredili življenje.
I'm just keeping myself moving and stay positive every day and look for more houses to clean.
Številne oblike dela bodo preživele tako pandemijo kot novo industrijsko revolucijo, nekatere pa ne. V gospodarstvu se dogajajo tektonski premiki. Stare oblike dela izginjajo, pojavljajo pa se nove, zato je prihodnost negotova.
This period of transition can be extremely painful for those whose jobs are disappearing. It can be decades. For some workers, it's a lifetime. They never find employment at the same level of security and wages as what they lost. They just do not.
Polpretekla zgodovina tako imenovanega pasu rje kaže, kako boleč je lahko ta prehod. Zahodna Pensilvanija in Ohio sta bila več kot 100 let ameriško jeklarsko in proizvodno središče. Mesta kot Youngstown so se hitro razvijala. Vsak je dobil službo. Nato pa sta v industrijo močno zarezala avtomatizacija in izvažanje proizvodnje v tujino.
Youngstown is a great example of a place where the idea of the American dream was very clear. You get a good job in the mill, you buy a small house, you have a comfortable, settled, predictable life. And you can do that job for all of your life. All of that sort of went away.
And between 1977 and 1987, you've had the loss of 50,000 steel and steel-related jobs. These were middle-class jobs, jobs that had pensions, jobs that had health care. And suddenly they were thrust into unemployment, underemployment, leaving the area to find work. And what happened is the community lost its sense of self.
Youngstown's story was America's story. What happened there was the warning to what has happened in a lot of other places, as the nature of people's work lives, the nature of their economic lives, the nature of their community lives shift in ways that they have no control over, that are not about whether they've done a good job or not.
Youngstown is an absolutely tragic story. Youngstown is, unfortunately, the perfect example of what happens when the heartwood of a city or town's workforce disappears because of technology or globalization. And what you see is that the effect isn't just economic, it's psychological.
We saw increases in alcoholism and drug use and domestic abuse and depression and suicide. That's the measurable stuff. What we know too is that a lot of people felt a sense of defeat and frustration.
We've kind of created a society where people depend on having their work to feel that they have a strong reason to exist and a reason to live. And the dream, whether it's the American dream or Chinese dream or whatever, it has to do with hard work is the essence of your existence, and that's the most important thing. It's very much a problem now because people will not only come to realize the work that they've taken pride in doing could be done better, easier, and definitely cheaper by automation and artificial intelligence.
Mesta kot Youngstown so simbol uničujočih posledic izginjanja delovnih mest. v le 100 km oddaljenem Pittsburghu pa je povsem drugače. Tudi to mesto je prizadel propad jeklarske industrije, vendar danes cveti.
Pittsburgh is a great example of diversification. You can't just trust that the industries of the 1960s are going to be the leading industries of the 2000s. You have to expect that change will be the norm. And the best way to be prepared for change is to, I believe, invest in this diversification of the workforce.
Zaradi izrazitega vlaganja v univerze in raziskovalno dejavnost je Pittsburgh danes vodila na področju robotike in fine mehanike. Tu so razvili Uberjeve samovozeče avtomobile, vozila za raziskovanje Marsa in številne inovacije na področju medicinske tehnologije. Zaradi visokotehnoloških zagonskih podjetij je veliko povpraševanje po strokovnjakih za fino mehaniko.
Pittsburghers in general, people in Western PA, really enjoy making things. We have a culture of producing things and bringing value to components and to products for the world. It's still very exciting. And what we're seeing now is different industries come up from our work in manufacturing.
You talk about robotics, but what are robots made of? A lot of different parts. Who makes those parts? Machinists.
The future is very bright here in Pittsburgh. We've got a lot of new technologies and new industries that are coming up in the region. But it'll be machinists that will bring those products to reality and to life.
Vsaj za zdaj je tako. Različni usodi Youngstowna in Pittsburgha kažeta, da tehnološki pretresi v svetu dela ne vodijo vedno do enega in istega izida.
I think so much of the narrative for the last 5 to 10 years has been very binary. You've got the pessimists who would say, look at artificial intelligence, look at machine learning, look at robotic process automation, and look at all of these jobs that it's going to destroy. And the optimists will talk about, well, look at how many jobs the App Store created. Look at how many new jobs are created by emerging technology, and they'll point to the fact that throughout history, as automation has come about, there has been a net gain in employment.
Robotika, umetna inteligenca in drugi znanilci nove industrijske revolucije se bodo obdržali. Kako jih bomo uporabljali danes in v prihodnosti, pa je odprto vprašanje, vredno kritične presoje.
It's all about pride and contribution. I really believe that this is a basic human need. And so as we design future work, and remember, we get to design what work is. It doesn't just happen to us. The nature of work is designed by humans. We have to design things that are useful to society, but also provide satisfaction to the basic human needs that we have.
Kako uspešni bomo pri ustvarjanju delovnih mest, ki bodo zadovoljevala osnovne potrebe, se bo še pokazalo. Nekaj pa je gotovo. V svetu dela se že dogajajo tektonski premiki. Nekateri bodo prekinili dolgoletne kariere, drugi si bodo z novimi tehnologijami pomagali pri delu, tretji pa bodo ustvarjali delovna mesta, ki jih danes še ne poznamo. V tej novi industrijski revoluciji bodo tako zmagovalci kot poraženci. Prevod Martin Medved, zvokovna obdelava Robert Sršen, bral Igor Velše.